What's up YouTube? In this video I'm going to share with you 8 killer diatonic bebop exercises. I wanted to share in this video a concept that I've been drawn to for a really long time. It involves taking the major diatonic scale and inserting chromaticism within it so that you can take basically any idea and run it up and down the major scale. What this will really allow you to do is adapt ideas inside of the diatonic scale once you learn where the chromaticism should exist for each mode of the major scale. I remember in the practice room one day stumbling upon this idea where I was just playing a major scale and trying to think of ways where I could decorate each chord tone. This led me to creating a very simple but interesting diatonic pattern that was just the tip of the iceberg for what is a really awesome concept. And you can see with each scale degree, I'm starting on the diatonic note of the scale, going up 3 notes diatonically, but then going down to the chromatic half step or leading tone of the next note of the diatonic scale. These chromatic notes, when moved around or applied to different types of patterns or exercises, can add just a ton of color to diatonic exercises and also really bring to life a different side of the major diatonic scale. That exercise I just shared that was my origin story with diatonic bebop was actually exercise number 2 from 21 diatonic bebop exercises, and as we said, it's a 4-note pattern. Let's take a step back and just look at idea number 1, which is similar to idea number 2. It's a 3-note pattern, but when ascending and descending, it's the exact same sequence of notes. It's basically a leading tone going to the diatonic note and then a third above it diatonically. Let's hear what that sounds like. So again, a 3-note idea with chromaticism and also a cool rhythmic idea because it's a 3-note pattern. As promised, I'm going to show you 6 more patterns from this resource, but before we do that, please click that like and subscribe button so you can hear about future content like this and also let YouTube know that you dig the content. Checking out diatonic bebop idea number 3, this one is going to contain the chromaticism below the 5th note and descend the diatonic triad. This is one that we've probably all heard a lot of different improvisers play. It's a simple descending triad, but that half step adds color and personality to an otherwise normal diatonic triad. Checking out diatonic bebop idea number 4. This is one I've heard commonly as part of a 2-5-1 pattern, where it starts usually on the minor 2 chord. And in the context of a full 2-5-1, it would sound like this. But here's what's so cool about this process and about diatonic bebop is that you can take little pieces of ideas and turn them into an entire diatonic exercise. Going up the diatonic scale, we just look at what chord the idea is being played over, and then we take the number sequence of that idea and then apply it to the diatonic scale. In this case, we're looking at half step below the 7th, 5th, 3rd, 2 to 1. When we take that number sequence and we apply it to the major scale, we get this. Practicing that is not only great for the chromaticism involved, but also just feeling different parts of the scale and being able to take that specific idea and sequence it up and down is so useful when you're playing, especially on longer vamps and when you're trying to extend an idea that you're playing. Having this under your fingers and ready to go will really come in handy. Let's jump ahead to diatonic bebop idea number 7. This one's going to be an idea that I've heard a lot of different bebop players play and just one that sounds really good to me. The ascending version of it is going to start on the 3rd, go up to the 5th, and then go 3, 2, 1 for each chord of the diatonic scale. Let's hear what that sounds like. descending version is going to change a little bit because we want to use chromaticism in order to get us to the next diatonic note. Because the idea starts on the third of each diatonic chord and we're moving down diatonically now, or descending the idea, we have an opportunity to use chromaticism when moving to the next diatonic note in the pattern. Each time we go to a new diatonic note, we're going to be using a chromatic enclosure that is specific to each scale degree of the major scale. Let's check out what the descending version of this idea sounds like. Again, a really cool sounding idea, and if you start to go up and down the scale within your practice session, you can really develop a flow moving up and down the scale. Jumping ahead to number 10 out of 21. This one's going to start and stop on the third. It's going to be all eighth notes. It starts with a diatonic chromatic enclosure around the third, and then just follows with the next three notes of the diatonic scale. Listening to the pattern up and down the major scale. When we do the descending version, the enclosure around the third is going to be exactly the same, but we're going to reverse the four diatonic notes so that it's going 3, 2, 1, 3 to the next diatonic note of the sequence. Checking out Diatonic Bebop idea number 12, this one's actually going to systematically teach you how to tonicize every note of the diatonic scale, and it's very effective when you're trying to hear the chromaticism for each note of the major scale. One of the more difficult ones in this resource, but you can imagine if you practice this daily and learn this in all 12 keys, what this would do for your technique as an improviser. Checking out the 8th idea in this video and Diatonic Bebop idea number 17. This one's going to really nicely outline the bebop scale for each diatonic mode of the major scale. This idea is derived from the opening line of Donna Lee, but we're taking that line and that idea and strategically changing it to fit every scale degree of the major scale. Let's have a listen to what that sounds like. So when that idea is applied sequentially to the diatonic scale, you can hear it sounds a lot different than Donna Lee, and also gives you the ability to play it in a lot of different contexts and situations. Not to mention, it's great for the fingers to get down in, again, all 12 keys. Give some of the ideas in this video a try, and if you dig them and want to learn them in other key centers, reading through these ideas in different key centers will really help you to break out of technical patterns that your fingers have found their way into over time. If you're interested in studying improvisation with me, I encourage you to check out my improvisation studio. I'm talking about adapting concepts like this all the time to a different tune of study every month. We already have a wide variety of topics, from tune memorization to modal playing to bebop playing to double time, concepts like triad pairs and side slipping. Basically anything an improviser would want to know how to do, and something that I am always practicing as a full-time improvising musician. Check it out in the link below. Be sure to subscribe to my email list, and we'll catch you in the next video.